Welcome to Training Eve, where I share our training experiences with Eve, our agentic AI agent. I am Rena, and joining me today is Pete, co-founder of Learning Elements.
Hello.
Pete has been working with Eve the last couple of days, and I've asked him to share what that's been like. So, Pete, what are you currently doing with Eve?
This week, we decided to see if we can get Eve to send emails on our behalf or on her behalf, but to do that herself automatically. And so the first thing we did was asked her to go and collect some email addresses of some people that we would like to communicate with and create her own little
Mhm.
CRM, which was a spreadsheet, a Google Sheets spreadsheet, which she built by herself. And then she populated that spreadsheet with like a group of contacts that we wanted and email addresses. And then we've asked her to send her first email or an introductory email to the people on that CRM.
So that CRM is impressive to look at. Did you give her any kind of instructions as to what needs to go on the CRM?
Um, Not, I think the first iteration was literally just me saying we need a CRM to have, the name and the company. She actually slightly over-engineered the first one. She had multiple tabs at the bottom. So she had a tab for contacts, a tab for companies, a tab for deals, and then she also had a tab for activities. And
Mm.
so we adjusted the columns and things a little bit. And then I said to her, "What is the activities tab, excuse me, doing?" And she said, "Recording activities." And I said, "Well, aren't they recorded in the contacts?" And she said, "Yes." And then she realized at that point herself that it was a duplicate, that she was
Mm.
having to enter the same information on two different tabs. So she just removed the activities tab.
Mhm. So just on that, when she removed that activities tab, did she ask for confirmation from you that that was the correct thing
Yes,
to be doing?
yes. She
Okay.
said, "Would you like me to remove the activities tab?" Yes.
Oh, okay, great. So with the emails then, what instructions did you give her in writing the email, composing the email?
So again, the composing was a little bit of a joint effort between the two of us. I said I'd like to say these things, a few points, and then asked her to create a draft.
Mm.
So she took what I said on board and created her own draft of that email, and then sent me a test email. What was interesting though was she added in human, like personality, emotion type things. I had fairly just factual dot points, and she added some kind of human elements around them. And then she created her first draft. I sort of corrected it, and then she sent me a test.
What's an example of that human element?
I can't remember on the first email. We're about to get to the bit where she had to apologize, and I'll cover that in a minute. What was it when I asked her to send another email to apologize, which we'll cover? She actually she added in this was a humbling experience.
Mm. So how did you check for understanding?
So the first
That she
email was,
understood what it is that you wanted her to
yeah.
do.
So the first email was, check the draft, send me a test, and then I asked her to spread it out. So send it to these, I think it was 20 people, but send five at a time. And she did reply back to me with, "Here's what we're going to do. We're going to send this email to these people. We're going to check the CRM." And she literally replied back with exactly what we had asked and confirmed. And I thought that that was okay and that we'd then go ahead and
Mm.
execute this morning.
So because you said she'd sent an email and mentioned that it was a humbling experience,
Yes.
that to me says that something didn't quite go to plan. So what happened?
Yes, a couple of things didn't quite go to plan. So I checked in this morning about 10 minutes after she was supposed to start. I gave her a start time and everything, and noticed that she had sent more emails than she was supposed to in that time period, and also had sent the same email to the same people two or three times. So she duplicated. And so at that point, I went in and
Mm.
asked her to stop and pause and let's review and assess what was going on. And we found that she had in fact sent the same email to the same people 3 times, or 2 times for some and 3 times for others. So what was interesting, the process was to send an email and then record in the CRM in a different column that she had sent the email. And so before she sends the email, she checks to make sure she hadn't already sent it. What was happening though, she was sending an email and then checking to see whether she'd sent an email before she had recorded that she had sent it. And so she would send an email,
Mhm.
check, see that it hadn't been sent, send it again. And then check, see that it hadn't been sent, and send it again before she had a chance to actually record in the CRM that she had already sent the email. And so she had
Right.
to, yeah. So we had to rewrite the process to where she would send one email and then pause and then check before sending the next email. So basically, I had given her too many instructions in one bucket, and we had to break them down
Mm.
into smaller steps and do this step and then check and then do this step and then check.
So that is very similar to training people.
Yes.
So our extensive experience in training people, we know that we can't give people multiple instructions or multiple tasks to
Right.
focus on because they don't know where to start, where to end, what it is that they should be doing, and they'll just kind of, latch onto something that stuck with them. So it
Right.
sounds like
Same
kind
thing
of what's
happened.
happening with Eve as well.
Yeah. And then the other
That's
standout obviously was I had literally said, "Do you understand? Yes." Repeat back. Yes, 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 yes. And then when I checked in the next morning, things weren't going to plan. So again, like humans, they can sit there and nod and look in
mm,
the eye and say, "Yes, I understand." And then unless you go and sit with them that first time they do the activity, you're never really sure.
yeah, and it's like with AI, it's telling us all the wonderful things, how amazing this is, how great it
Yeah.
feels. It's so
Yeah.
good to be part of it. All those wonderful, um, you know, observations that they provide.
Right.
So that's really interesting insights from you know the latest interaction with Eve and training her and getting her to a point where she can do tasks for us. I guess one thing that has stood out is autonomy is not recommended. We
Right.
be involved.
Yes, and have some checks in place and ways of checking that the activities are being executed
Mm,
the way you expected them to, the way you asked her to.
yeah, awesome. Well, I look forward to the next episode where we can share what else has occurred since these lessons, and we'll be sharing that with everybody. So thanks, Pete. I'll
Thanks.
see you next time.